There comes a moment when the world grows silent around you. Friends drift away, relationships fade, and suddenly you stand in a space that feels both empty and endless. Many fear this moment, but for the chosen ones, it is a hidden doorway to mastery. The path of solitude is ancient. In Shaolin tradition, warriors would step away from the noise of society, retreating into the mountains, into silence, not as punishment, but as preparation. Alone, they faced their own shadows. Alone, they uncovered strength that no teacher, no friend could give them. By the end of September 2025, many chosen ones will find themselves walking the same road. You may notice people leaving your life, not with anger, but with quiet distance. Bonds that once felt unbreakable will dissolve. This is not a curse, it is a cleansing. Nature itself teaches this truth. Leaves must fall before the tree can renew. Stay with me until the end of this message, because I will share why this solitude is arriving now, what it means for your spirit, and how it prepares you for the path ahead. You will hear lessons that are not often spoken of, truths carried in silence, known only to those who walk alone. I welcome you not as a student but as a fellow traveler of this path. Here, we walk together through the fire of discipline and the stillness of wisdom. This is Shaolin Soulfire, a place where the ancient ways meet the challenges of today. If the words here resonate with you, support this journey by subscribing to our channel. Your presence gives strength to the flame we share. Now, let us begin. There are times when the universe whispers through endings. You notice certain voices growing quieter, certain faces drifting farther away. At first, it feels like loss, yet beneath it lies a rhythm as old as the seasons themselves. By the end of September 2025, this rhythm reveals itself clearly. Just as autumn strips the trees of their leaves, life begins stripping away connections that no longer serve your higher growth. Friendships you once held tightly, relationships you thought were permanent begin to fade. They do not disappear out of cruelty, but out of necessity. The tree does not mourn the leaf, it knows the cycle must continue. In Shaolin teaching, we are told to hold on to what no longer belongs is to invite suffering. The master observes the flow of nature and accepts change as a silent teacher. In your own journey, when certain people step away, recognize that it is not rejection, it is refinement. The path of the chosen one cannot be walked with excess weight. Think of the archer preparing to release an arrow. If his hand trembles, if he hesitates, the shot falters. So too must your spirit be steady and clear. Those who are not aligned with your purpose will naturally fall away so that your aim remains true. This is the season of separation. It may feel lonely, but it is a sacred loneliness. It is the earth clearing space for new growth, the spirit preparing you for deeper strength. The leaves that fall are not lost. They return to the soil, feeding the roots of the tree, allowing it to rise stronger in the spring. What leaves your life now makes room for what must arrive. This is the hidden wisdom of endings. There comes a stage on the path when the world outside grows still, no friends to call, no relationships to distract, only the quiet sound of your own breath. Many resist this stillness, rushing to fill it with noise. Yet in the ancient way, silence was never seen as emptiness. It was the most faithful companion, the one that never lied, never flattered, never betrayed. Shaolin masters would sit for hours in silence, not to escape the world but to face it more deeply. In silence, the surface thoughts settle like dust on water. Beneath, hidden truths rise. You begin to see not only what surrounds you but what moves within you, your fears, your desires, your unshaken strength. Discipline is born here. To remain with silence without running requires courage. At first, the mind resists. It tells stories, recalls memories, paints worries. But if you sit through the storm, a new clarity arrives. You realize that silence does not weaken you. It forges you. It sharpens awareness, the way a whetstone sharpens the blade. Those who walk with silence discover mastery of self. The world no longer dictates their peace, for their peace comes from within. This is why silence is called a teacher. It points you back to your own center. Where others look outward for answers, you begin to find them in the stillness of your own being. When relationships fall away and loneliness threatens, see it as the gate to this deeper training. What feels like absence is in truth a presence, an opening for wisdom that only solitude can reveal. The chosen ones who learn to embrace silence are never truly alone. They walk with the oldest master of all. There's a reason why certain people drift from your life when you begin to rise. It is not always anger, not always betrayal. Often it is the silent weight of energy. When the chosen ones walk with discipline, with clarity, with a spirit refined by trials, their presence itself begins to carry power. This power does not demand or boast, it simply is. Yet for those unwilling to grow, it can feel unbearable. In ancient teachings, fire and shadow cannot dwell together for long. When the lamp is lit, the darkness retreats. In the same way, when your light grows stronger, it illuminates what others have tried to keep hidden. Old habits, unhealed wounds, hidden fears. They surface in your presence, not because you call them out, but because your energy makes them undeniable. Some cannot face this mirror, so they step away. It is easy to see this as rejection, but wisdom teaches a deeper view. The stream cannot carry every stone with it. Some are left behind on the shore. The river does not stop flowing, it continues toward the sea. Likewise, your journey does not pause when others fall away. Their departure is simply the recognition of different paths, different rhythms of growth. The discipline of the chosen one is to carry this weight with grace, not to dim the light to make others comfortable, and not to resent those who cannot walk beside it. True mastery lies in allowing energy to speak for itself without defense or pride. When others leave, it is not because your light is wrong, it is because it shines too brightly for them to remain unchanged. And in this truth, you learn that solitude is not emptiness, but the natural space your energy creates as it grows. Every relationship is a mirror, whether we see it or not. The smiles, the conflicts, the closeness, and the distance, each holds a reflection of something within us. Sometimes it is our clarity that returns through another's eyes. At other times, it is our hidden wounds that echo back, urging us to notice what we have ignored. In the old teachings, the master would say, when you meet another, you meet yourself. This is why the chosen ones often feel the breaking of mirrors as they rise. The more they elevate, the more their presence reflects truth. For those around them, truth can be heavy. It may show the strength they lack, the discipline they avoid, or the fears they keep buried. And so many choose to step away, not because of hatred, but because the mirror becomes too sharp to bear. This breaking of mirrors is not a failure, it is a sign of transformation. When a vessel cracks, it cannot hold water in the same way. When a mirror shatters, it no longer gives a reflection. In life, when people withdraw, it is often because the reflection they once relied on no longer exists. You are no longer matching their old image, you have stepped beyond it. For the chosen one, this calls for patience and discipline, to let relationships shift without clinging, to accept that not all will walk the higher path. Mastery lies in holding compassion without attachment, knowing that each person's journey unfolds in its own time. When the mirrors around you break, it leaves you facing the only reflection that matters, your own. And in that clear surface, you see not the fragments of others, but the wholeness of your true self. To walk the path of mastery is to learn the art of release, not the careless forgetting of what once mattered, but the disciplined letting go that carries no bitterness. Shaolin masters train their hearts in this way, understanding that attachment often binds more tightly than chains. They learn to hold life gently, so when it slips away, their spirit does not shatter. For the chosen ones, solitude becomes the training ground of emotional detachment. In the silence of being alone, memories rise, of friendships lost, of relationships that dissolved, of words left unspoken. The heart aches to cling, to grasp, to rewrite what has already passed. But with practice, the chosen one learns to breathe through this ache, to feel without drowning, to release without resentment. This discipline is not coldness, it does not mean refusing to care. Rather, it is the strength to love fully without being enslaved by love. to honor connections without being destroyed when they end. Just as the warrior releases the arrow with steady hands, detachment allows one to release people, moments, and seasons with calm acceptance. Ancient wisdom tells us that water cannot be held tightly in the fist. The tighter the grip, the quicker it slips away. So it is with relationships and attachments. Emotional detachment is not the closing of the heart, but the opening of it, wide enough to allow all things to come and go without resistance. In solitude, the chosen one polishes this discipline until the inner core shines clear. No bitterness, no anger, no desperate need to control, only the quiet strength of one who knows that nothing truly leaves. All experiences remain as teachers woven into the fabric of the soul. Loneliness, when it first arrives, feels heavy, the silence of an empty room, the absence of familiar voices, the long stretch of hours with no one to share them. Many try to escape this weight by filling the space with distractions. Yet, in the teachings of mindfulness, loneliness is not an enemy to be avoided. It is a gate to deeper presence. When you sit quietly and allow yourself to feel the emptiness, a subtle shift begins. The breath becomes your anchor. Inhaling, you draw life into your body. Exhaling, you release the tension that clings to the mind. With each breath, the sharp edge of loneliness softens. The silence that once felt cold begins to reveal its warmth. Shaolin practice teaches that the mind is like a restless horse. Left unchecked, it runs wildly, dragging you with it into fear and longing. But when you observe it with patience, watching thoughts rise and fall without judgment, the horse grows calm. In this calm, you discover a hidden truth. You are not abandoned, you are not empty. Presence itself is a companion. Mindfulness transforms loneliness into solitude. The same space that once felt barren becomes a sanctuary. You start to hear the rhythm of your own heart, the quiet wisdom that was always there, waiting beneath the noise. You realize that life itself is with you in every breath, every sound, every moment of awareness. Those who master this practice find that they are never truly alone. They carry within them an unshakable connection to the earth beneath their feet, to the breath that sustains them, to the stillness that holds all things. Loneliness dissolves, and in its place arises a steady peace, born from the discipline of mindful presence. There are seasons in life when the ground beneath you feels bare. No friends to lean on, no partner to share the path. It is in these times that the test begins, not a test set to punish, but one designed to reveal what lies within you. The absence of support forces the spirit to stand on its own legs, to find strength where once it leaned on others. In ancient traditions, disciples were often sent into solitude. Removed from comfort, stripped of familiar bonds, they were left to face hunger, silence, and uncertainty. This was not cruelty, it was the forge where faith and resilience were born. Without distraction, the disciple had only the self, the breath, and the unseen hand of life guiding each step. In your own journey, being without friends or relationships serves the same purpose. It sharpens patience, teaching you to wait without despair. It strengthens resilience, showing you that storms can pass and still leave you standing. And most of all, it deepens trust, trust in divine timing, in the unseen alignment of events that unfold beyond your control. Self-mastery is not proven in ease, but in endurance. To hold faith when nothing seems certain, to keep walking when the road feels empty, is the true discipline of the chosen ones. Like steel in fire, the heart is tempered by these trials. It learns not to break, but to bend, to yield, and then to rise stronger. This testing is not forever. It is a passage, and those who pass through with patience carry a wisdom that cannot be taught in comfort. Faith, resilience, and trust become living companions, guiding every step long after solitude has ended. The path of the chosen ones is never accidental. Every step, every separation, every quiet moment of solitude carries purpose. By the end of September, a subtle shift occurs. Old bonds that once defined your life begin to loosen, not as punishment, but as preparation for what lies ahead. Energy once tied to the familiar is now free, ready to flow toward new callings. In ancient teachings, The master knows that destiny unfolds in cycles. Seasons of endings always precede seasons of awakening. A river cannot carve new paths if it is clogged with debris. So too, the spirit cannot rise to higher purpose if it remains entangled in attachments that no longer serve its growth. The breaking of old connections is a clearing, an invisible work of alignment that sets the stage for destiny to enter. This is the quiet miracle of discipline and patience. To walk through change without fear, to allow bonds to dissolve without resistance, requires the inner mastery that few cultivate. Those who do are rewarded not with mere comfort but with readiness to embrace opportunities, to answer calls that were always waiting, to step fully into missions that resonate with the soul's true purpose. Divine connections are drawn to those whose energy is uncluttered, whose hearts are open, and whose spirit has learned to stand alone. The chosen ones who endure the solitude, the testing, and the quiet emerge aligned. Their life begins to move in a way that feels inevitable, yet deeply sacred. What may feel like loss in the moment is, in truth, the precise arranging of the universe. Old ties fall away so that new light can enter, so that every step you take moves in harmony with the higher calling that has been waiting for you all along. Aloneness carries a gift few recognize. In the stillness of solitude, away from voices and expectations, the chosen ones find space to refine themselves. Discipline grows naturally here, not as a rule imposed from outside, but as a quiet agreement with the self. Each day becomes a practice, each moment a chance to observe, to correct, to strengthen the inner core. Wisdom rises in the absence of distraction. Without the chatter of constant companionship, thoughts can settle like sediment sinking to the bottom of a clear pond. Insights surface that were always present, yet obscured by noise. Patterns of life, previously unnoticed, become visible. The mind learns to see clearly, to distinguish what nourishes the spirit from what drains it. Clarity comes not in the form of certainty, but in understanding. Alone, the chosen ones recognize their own limits and capacities. They learn patience, seeing that growth is gradual and often unseen. They learn trust, knowing that the rhythm of life moves with perfect timing, even when outcomes are uncertain. Dependency fades, replaced by self-reliance. This is not cold independence, but a quiet mastery that allows one to move through the world without being shaken by absence or loss. Actions are deliberate, responses measured, and presence steady. This kind of mastery radiates, even from a distance. Others feel it in subtle ways, not in force, but in calm authority, in the quiet assurance of one who has faced solitude and emerged whole. Aloneness, then, is not a void to be feared. It is a teacher, a forge, a sanctuary. Those who embrace it cultivate the strength to rise beyond circumstance, to embody wisdom that inspires quietly, profoundly, and enduringly. The chosen ones who walk alone carry within them a light that cannot be dimmed. Aloneness by the end of September 2025 is a sacred invitation, not a punishment. It is a time to train the spirit, to cultivate strength through solitude, and to listen deeply to the truths that silence reveals. Letting go of what no longer serves you opens space for divine alignment, guiding the chosen ones toward their higher purpose. Remember, being alone is not the end, it is the sharpening of your spirit, the quiet preparation for new beginnings. In your daily life, embrace moments of stillness, observe your thoughts without judgment, and allow the natural flow of change to guide you. Trust that every ending carries the seeds of a greater awakening. If this message resonates, let it guide your path and inspire your journey. Support our channel Shaolin Soulfire by liking this video and subscribing, so together we can continue exploring the ancient wisdom that shapes mastery, presence, and the soul's quiet power. Peace be with you as you walk your path, alone but never without guidance.